Good afternoon. We're now joined by Dartmouth student athletes Ryan Cornish, Brandon Mitchell-Day, and Romeo Murthill, along with head coach Dave McLaughlin. We will start with some opening comments from Coach McLaughlin, and then move on to questions from the media. Please make sure to identify yourself and your media organization when asking a question. And Coach McLaughlin, would you please make an opening statement?
Sure, I'd love to. Thank you. I thought we ran into a team that's playing really well right now, a team that played really solid tonight on both sides of the ball, so a lot of credit to them. I really appreciate how our guys continue to fight. That's part of what defines us. To the end, down 15, we're still diving on the floor, and that's who we are. So I do think Cornell, they're really well coached, they're well prepared, they played tough on both ends of the floor, and I think that what was going to take to beat us was a team that played that way. But I'm incredibly proud of these guys, these three, and the 12 downstairs, just for who they are as young men, who they are as competitors, and how their belief allowed us to have some success this year and take the program to where it hasn't been in a little while. I also told them in the locker room that they set a certain standard this year, and now their future, Brandon next year and future players have to meet that standard and exceed it. So it's going to sting for these guys, but they did a lot of good for our department and the school, and very, very, very proud of them.
Okay, we'll now open it up to questions for the Dartmouth student athletes only. Questions? Here.
Jack Zipper from the Dartmouth. Can be for either three of you. So Connor Edmondson, he exited the game with a shoulder injury and then came back and then really helped you guys stay in the game. Can you talk to the toughness of your teammate and how the team really rallied around him?
I mean, yeah, he's a tough kid. Like you say, he's not the biggest guy, but he'll play the hardest. He'll fight his ass off to, excuse my language, to get us where we need to be. And you saw it. I mean, we got hurt and had to tape it up and then walked right back in, and it was crucial for us. And he's been that all year.
Yeah, just adding on to what Romeo said, like Coach said, Connor is the embodiment of a point guard, and something like that isn't uncharacteristic for him. He's been fighting through a lot of injuries, a lot of fights. I mean, like Romeo said, he's not the tallest or strongest guy out there, but like you turn around, he's going to be up in your, excuse my language, shit. But yeah, that wasn't uncharacteristic for him, and him coming back really brought us together, and that's just what Dartmouth basketball is. Like Coach said, that's the standard now.
And then for Brandon, how does it feel to kind of carry the torch from these two guys into your left? Yeah, like I just said, their senior class really set the standard in terms of leadership, in terms of grit, in terms of just staying together. And it's me, Jackson, and Jaden's turn next year to carry that torch and exceed that standard is the goal. They set the standard high, and now we have to exceed that if we want to be successful next year. And I know we're going to be successful next year.
More questions for the student athletes?
Will Dame also with the Dartmouth. Ryan and Romeo, I know it hurts. Thank you guys for being here and talking, but no one expected you guys to be up there tonight. I know you guys did, but the rest of the Ivy didn't. Preseason ranked last. You got to be proud of yourselves for that. Can you sort of talk about what it means to lead this program in a direction it hasn't been in? Like Coach was saying, gave the school a lot of pride, gave the program, put it in bright hands.
Yeah, I think it just talks about the character of each guy on the team and how we have a special team. I mean, the camaraderie that we have as a team. I mean, you can clearly see how much it means to us, and it just means so much to us every day, every practice, everything we did. It was together, whether it was on the court or off the court, and it's just I'm just glad that the program is left in a better place, and our young guys like Brandon can do great things next year.
Romeo, if you could answer that.
Yeah, I mean, right now it stings, obviously, but Coach talks about it a lot. We're a player-led team, he says, and that's not just us seniors. It's everyone at practice. It's Brandon, it's Jackson, fellow co-captains, and Jaden too, great leader himself, vocal, and I think I'm proud of the standard of everyone daring to talk and holding each other accountable, and I think that's really going to carry over to future years, or I hope it does.
More questions for the student athletes?
I'll just ask one more, and I don't want to make it sting, but sort of what's your message for Brandon, someone who's younger and has a year ahead of him? I know you guys are probably realizing now how short it all happens and it comes together. What's your message for a guy like Brandon and the rest of the team?
I mean, I know you will, but give it your all. It really stings when it ends. I didn't think I was going to cry, but here I am. And yeah, I know you will, so I'm not worried about it. But yeah, just give it your all. There's not much time left.
I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little more. Have a private conversation with Brandon. You know, it'll get a deep talk when we talk privately and talk about next year and all that. But you know, that's going to be our everyday going forward. Like, just because we're graduating doesn't mean that we're not going to help out the program. Like, we're going to be supporters for life. And you know, this brotherhood, it's not just something that ends when you take off the uniform.
Okay, any more questions for the student athletes? Thank you. We'll dismiss the student athletes back to the locker room. We'll keep Coach here.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we'll now open it up to questions for Coach McLaughlin.
Nathaniel Marco, College Independent. Coach, the game started off at a really frenetic pace. It seemed like you were putting up a lot of first opportunity shots, which led to relatively low three-point efficiency. Can you talk a little bit about the tempo of the game? Did you try to make any adjustments at halftime to fix that?
Yeah. Well, we want to play at a certain tempo, right? Our national numbers will show that. I thought they did a nice job getting out to our early shooters, and I thought we talked about not playing in between against them, finishing cuts and not getting caught in that in-between area, and I thought we did a little bit early on. And in terms of halftime, no, we wanted to stick to our plan. Stick to the plan of, really playing aggressive offensively, catching to score. Cornell had a lot to do taking us out of some of that. And I think on the defensive end, it's just they're so dangerous offensively that you really have to have a great defensive presence to all five guys out there. And they take advantage when you don't have that. And that happened on multiple occasions. But the message at halftime was to the same defensive game plan, yes.
Thank you. More questions for Coach?
Jack Zipper for the Dartmouth. Kind of going off of that, you guys really came into the game trying to defend their perimeter and trying to mitigate their three-point shot, but you ended up getting really hurt by Okereke in the interior. So did you guys get surprised in any way by their game plan?
No, Okereke hurt us up there, and then, he didn't hurt us as much at home, but, you have to, they came in the last 5 games averaging 15 and a half made threes a game, right? So you got to protect the three-point line, and that's what we do well. And then what we didn't do a great job of, they did a terrific job of moving without the ball and keeping pressure on the paint, and we didn't execute well enough to really make them make challenge twos. They were making pretty clean twos. And granted, Okereke made some real tough ones, and that opened it up for other guys.
Question up front.
Ray Carnavi, Hopes Online. What did you learn from this experience? You've been here a little while, first experience for Dartmouth here. This is Cornell's 4th trip here. What did you learn that you can take going forward?
That's a really good question. I think one of the biggest things I learned is, next season starts now. And Mike Harrity's here with Torian Houston. Last season started the week after the season ended. We met, the 3 of us met, and it was a epically long days of meetings. I mean, the first day the meeting didn't end and we didn't finish, sorry, and then we went again and again. We went 4 straight days. And what we did is we talked about the program and what we have to do moving forward. So, a lot of credit in some way goes to the 3 of us just sitting down and being asked really hard questions. And that's what leaders do. They did their job by asking me those questions. Like, how are we going to change this thing? How are we going to get this to where we want to get it to? And knowing that the energy that would come with it, which we saw this year. So, I think, sorry to kind of run around your question a little bit, but I think it's just you learn how you want to continue to play next year. I think it's the biggest thing. And it starts, literally now.
Any more questions for Coach? Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.